Hi Virgo, welcome to May 2020. In the part 1 of the video, I introduced May to you. I spoke about the general lay of the land. We spoke about Saturn square Uranus that is happening in 2021. Now in this video, we're going to go deeper into your sign to see what you are about to see in May, which will be a preview of 2021. We'll also talk about the full moon that is happening on 7th of May, which will have an impact on you for the next 2 weeks. There is some sort of information, some sort of commercial communication that is coming your way that will take your attention for at least 2 weeks, starting from 7th of May. We'll also talk about a beautiful cosmic smile which is happening between 15th to 17th of May, which is very, very positive for you. It is in positive energy with you. It is forming a grand earth trine with you. When a grand earth trine is formed with our sign, something is given to us which is material in nature, which is lucrative in nature, and that is happening between 15th to 17th of May. These are some bright spots in the middle of all the volatility that you and I and everybody is facing right now. So it's important for us to pick our spots and take advantage of that. And we look at that. Let's start with sort of thinking about what is May good for, what is the fresh energy that is infused in the month of May. Normally a month of May for you, because it's Taurus season, it is normally about expansion of your sphere of influence. You would normally be focused on how do I expand what I'm doing. It could be your education, it could be on the job expansion, it could be interaction with a wider set of people, it could be learning something new. It is a time of growth of your higher mind. You might be exploring something new. It is a time to expand beyond the regular, going beyond the mundane, going beyond the ordinary, looking for something to enhance your purpose in life, initiating new projects, publications, or activities that expand your mind, and it sort of gives you a feeling of adventure. It uses your higher octave of imagination, new philosophy, perspective, something spiritual, even religious, even some sort of experience that moves you into a different sphere of thinking. This is a very positive house for you because it is like a travel of the mind or of the body, an adventure that takes you out of the mundane routine and you sort of go far away from mundane to some extent to look at things from a higher perspective. It's the time to read, to learn, to connect, to go for higher education, to explore new cultures, the ways of living which are different from yours. It's the time when we go away from status quo, away from ordinary. Ordinary is almost unacceptable during this time. You want something extraordinary, sort of, going away from the limits of convention of where you have been before. You will explore what is the way to propel forward from them, exploring new beliefs, new concepts. There's a shift in perspective that happens normally in this season. But what has happened since 2018 is that Uranus has entered your house of mind, this house that I'm describing of adventure, of expansion, of sort of learning new things. Uranus, wherever it comes, it speeds things up. Fully, Uranus entered your house of mind in March of 2019. One of the key things that Uranus does is that it opens our philosophy for life up. It completely shifts what we thought our life is for. The purpose of life shifts. The philosophy of life shifts. And if there was a fixed way of looking at things, especially from business perspective, that gets shifted when Uranus comes here. Your philosophy, Taurus, and you are a material sign. You're here to create something material for all of us. You're here to create something lucrative for all of us. So your philosophy is very practical. It is very grounded. The philosophy involves how do I create something of substance, something of value for the world. So when Uranus comes over here, you sort of almost you receive a brain wave of moving away from tradition, moving away from the previous way of looking at life. Your philosophy is given a complete shift here. Uranus is lightning bolt, and this is your house of mind. It is like a lightning bolt comes into your mind. It sort of shakes you up from within, and there is a new radical philosophy which is not traditional that starts developing. It is a 7-year transit which fully initiated in March of 2019 and will continue till 2026. It's a very positive aspect to have with you, because this is the house of expansion, and Uranus is speed, so you can really expand fast in a direction completely different from where you have been before. It is moving away from tradition. This is the house of college, the specialization. So it's like something, you were graduating in one field of subject and you decided, when Uranus comes here, you suddenly decided to change the specialization, change the field in which you're supposed to become the expert or the guru in. And that gives you sort of this steep learning curve in a technical field, in a field that requires you to learn new financial skills, new philosophy. It leads you to people who are completely different from you, ideas that are out of norm, that are ahead of time, that are different, that are not conservative. And sort of you interact with people who are different from you as well. You sort of, through travel or through travel of the mind, or just by interacting with people who are of culture and influence different from you learn a lot. The learning comes and the freedom comes from meeting people who are different from you. It's a time when you sort of become independent in your outlook towards life, and you'll find that the people who used to have the same ideology as you, they don't have the same ideology as you, and you are the one who is changing here. You're becoming different in your ideology. So the people who were your influencers before, or who you used to influence with, they are going to change. You're here to sort of bring new ideology, not stick to the old one. So new ideologies, new teachings, new advancements in knowledge you're supposed to bring. You're supposed to bring insights and concepts that are ahead of time, that are unusual. This is a very rare transit. Uranus comes in a house once in 84 years. So in your lifetime, this is never going to happen again. But when exactly this adds to you, when exactly this helps you, is when it is coming to your exact degrees. But because Uranus is in the early degrees, all of you will feel that, because it's like first time in your life when this happens. It's like you've woken up. And that awakening could have happened the first touchdown when it happened in 2018, or around early 2019. You might have just woken up to something that I want to do something radically different. There's a new ideology, there's an unusual feeling in your mind, and your learning curve becomes accelerated here. This is the time to know different things, pulse of the society, knowing the trends. Your intuition gets very heightened, and you absorb information which is different from what you have learned before, with a speed that you have not done before. It's the time to sort of practice something. This is specialization. Practice something which you have not done before. And what's happening along with this shift in perspective, and you're being opened up, your mind is completely being opened up. This is like divine blessing which is coming to you, which is opening your mind. This is the house of karma, positive karma. This is like, I wouldn't call it luck. This is luck that comes from your investment, by being flexible in your outlook to life. So it's like when you are flexible in your outlook to life and you're ready to take a leap of faith, something starts flowing positively and easily towards you. So when you try to move away from your past life, when the outlook in life shifts, and which direction you expand in and how you expand in that direction, that shifts, you'll find that things start coming to you. Influences, the tools that you need to grow, they start coming to you. As soon as you shift the purpose of your life, the things start, it's like the whole universe conspires and they start supporting you in something. This is a shift in your religious outlook as well. Some of you might have changed their religious philosophies as well. This is where you could actually create a career which is very, very ahead of time in education and travel and publication and media, in international trade. This is related to financial aspect. It could be in the field of finances, which will involve you to use technology, ahead of time technologies and ideas. This is the time when you can go for certification in these fields as well. Arts, crafts, music, food, money. This is concrete stuff that is being created by you using ahead of time technologies or using ahead of time ideas. Now, what's happening along with this is that we have Saturn in your house of health and work routines for the next 2.5 years. This is your house, Virgo. This is what Virgos stand for. Virgos stand for efficiency. It's a sign or archetype that stands for creating efficiency in work and health. Saturn over here is here to streamline a process to create something concrete out of this adventure, this sense of adventure and new philosophy that is ahead of time that you have. Saturn is here to sort of create some sort of discipline in this excitement. So, 2.5 years, Saturn will help you create the practices and the setup that you need to create something concrete out of this radically different idea or different ideology that you are getting. Now, Saturn over here is sort of the last house before it moves into interpersonal houses. Saturn normally stays in a house for 2.5 years, and for the last 14 years, Saturn has been moving below the chart for you. When Saturn is moving below the chart for you, Saturn is structure, it is restructuring your inner life, restructuring you as a person. When Saturn will move away above the horizon, which will happen after 2.5 years, you come into visible light. In the sense, it doesn't mean that you will not be in the light in the next 2.5 years. In fact, just the contrary, because North Node or Rahu is entering your house of career. So your career will get very highlighted and you'll become very visible in your career. You'll get opportunities to be very visible in your career. But the growth in the next 2.5 years will come through you paying attention to the details of the thing that you need to execute. Saturn will make sure that you create a streamlined structure of your life when it comes to your work. This is sort of a period of participation, just a period before the participation in the outside world. The next 14 years is going to be all about interpersonal relationships. But you sort of need to create the right boundaries, the right structure of your work, of your ideas, before you take other people on that journey with you for a long period of time. So, next 18 months, North Node is in your house of career. There are going to be fated shifts that come in your career. Opportunities that would normally take many, many years to come, they will come in your career. Saturn will help you create the routines, the daily discipline that needs to be there to execute the work required to make it happen. What does that mean? That means that, of course, there's going to be hard work. This is your house. You are not a stranger to hard work. That is not a problem. But what happens is that the details need to be taken care of. And that's where the conflict happens with Uranus. Uranus just wants you to go, go, go. It wants you to have an adventure. It wants you to take a leap of faith. Saturn in the 6th house says, wait a minute, maybe we are missing some details which we need to streamline. And as a Virgo, you do not have this innate thing in you where you leap without checking. You normally do the due diligence before you take a leap of faith. But Uranus over here, once in lifetime, changes that. It creates both radical confidence in what you want to do, as well as it creates this angst, or sort of this, there's like, it's high vibration. Uranus is high vibration. There's something inside you which is like really raring to go. It really wants to expand. It really wants to go big. It's sort of that thing, right? Go big or go home. That philosophy becomes your philosophy right now. And Saturn is putting a little bit of brakes on that, but you will just be seeing a preview of that right now. This aspect will fully manifest in 2021. And we are going to be preparing for that right now, because Saturn will be standing still, and there might be some structural shift in your work environment or in the way you work with coworkers that needs to be done right now. So Saturn is like one of those harsh parents who give you a reward if you do the deed that is required. There's a carrot and stick here, especially Saturn in Aquarius, which it is in right now for the next 2.5 years. It's all about carrot and stick. You sort of follow the rules of the game, and a big reward and gainfulness in your work comes. Taking care of daily routines, daily chores, sort of taking care of business on a daily fashion, need to be organized, detoxing things when it comes to your information, when it comes to how you are both receiving information and sort of giving out. The analysis, the discrimination, and the elimination of your task, of your daily work is required over here, and this is natural to you. This is your house. This is what Virgos are best at. They're best at putting order to a disorganized thought. So exactly that is what we need to do. We need to organize this feeling we have, or this sudden meeting that we might have with a person who has a radically different idea, and that sort of becomes our philosophy or becomes the direction we want to go in. Or we have the sudden impulse, I know what my purpose in life is. Uranus is lightning bolt, so it suddenly hits your higher mind, your philosophy, and you are set free from some shackle. And then what comes out is a very different person, a person with a very different ideology. Saturn says 2.5 years, let's see how do we make it happen constructively. Let's see how we put effort on a daily basis to create an environment, a project, a workable thing, a routine to make this happen. And it will ask you what you're doing, does it have meaning? Because the things that you're doing on a daily basis, and it doesn't mean that all of us are going to change our jobs, right? All the Virgos are not going to change our jobs, but what we do, the content of it, the work that you're creating, the output of your daily work, is that meaningful? Is that material? Is that in some ways futuristic? Is that contributing to the society in some way? Saturn in Aquarius is socially responsible. I spoke about it in detail in the Saturn in Aquarius and Saturn square Uranus video. It is socially responsible. Doing something that sort of shows you that you're contributing something material, what you came here to do. Are you delivering something as a sign? You came here to deliver something material to the world, which is financial in nature, that is practical, that helps or services or supports people in a practical fashion. There is no theoretical thing here. Uranus in the ninth house is theory. It's like we have a flash 30,000 feet idea. What is the content of it? Is it meaningful? Now is the time to perfect that adventure. Adjust it to make it gainful, socially responsible, tech savvy. Get the right team in place to make it happen. Get the right relationship with coworkers to make this happen. And it will help you create the right boundaries on the daily basis, not just to manage your workload, but also to manage your health. This is the house of health as well. How do you manage your time on a daily basis to maintain order? This is where solutions are supposed to be found of any imbalances that exist as well. Imbalances where your work life is encroaching upon your health, for example. If there are certain obligations or boundaries that are weak with coworkers, where you're taking on too much and you're not delegating, those boundaries, those rules need to be created, because this is your house of health as well. The routines just don't your response. This is the house of your duties. Your duty is towards your work as well as towards your own body. And this house, when Saturn is here, I'm going to be brutally honest with you, Saturn over here can highlight health issues if you're not taking care of them. Health issues like migraine, nerves issue, and these are the issues that are not caused because of anything else but because of our own thought process, because of not taking care of ourselves, because of not loving our body enough, taking care of this mind body connection, compromising too much of ourselves when it comes to others, when it comes to how we manage the balance of how much are we giving to something and how much are we receiving. There's a psychological underpinning to health issues that happen over here. So Saturn over here will sort of push you to create boundaries, the right boundaries of workload, the right boundaries so you do not get used by other people. And as I said, it's like one of those harsh parents whose lesson, and I'm telling you, many of you, this is your house. It's possible that one of your parents was like that. It's like if a parent wants to tell you, you think you can do everything, okay, I'll give you 10,000 more tasks and let's see if you can do it. Because it's teaching you a lesson to manage your workload emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, physically. Are you handling your responsibility not just by doing it all, but managing it all in a productive fashion, creating order out of it? Because if you are to expand what you're doing and make it gainful and make it to the scale that you truly want to take it to, which you'll get the opportunity to, because you're going to get these eclipses which are going to happen in your career starting from November, which will put you on the map, which will give you the opportunity to accelerate your career over the next 18 months. Saturn says in order for you to do it all, you have to take care of the daily routines, make it efficient. Keep the people at the right boundary with you. This is the time when if any sickness or any health issue that happens, it happens because of not having the right work-life balance, and to some extent it can sometimes happen because you're not in the right work, because you're not using your talents in work, because the life direction is not concrete, because there is lack of self-discipline in daily life. Daily life needs to be more productive. It can happen because of people at work, where there is lack of boundary with other people. There could be a lack of boundary with your partner here, because we have Neptune in your house of relationships, one-on-one relationships, and this could be business relationship as well. Are those relationships at even keel? Are you being taken right off? And you might feel this month that there are some people who are taking too much advantage of you. We have Venus, the planet of relationship, going retrograde. When that happens, we see another side of relationship. There are factors that we were not looking at, they come into open, they start showing up. So even though your career has opportunity to grow, Venus is here for 4 months in your house of career, you will attract opportunities in your career. Especially right now, you'll already be doing that. Venus is here, you sort of attract support from authority figures, from people who are in influential positions. You attract financial opportunities in your career. But Venus says, hold on a minute, are you asking for what you truly want? Are you asking for the right money? Are you asking for the right returns? Are you going into a project that is using too much of your resources but it is not giving you the enough money? Are your work relationships, the relationships with your partners at work, are your relationship with your authorities being taking you for a ride here? So that will be an underlying theme as well, and you'll feel that throughout May. There could be some things that come to light which you did not know before. You got to be very careful with financial prospects at work. There could be something where you sort of think that the thing is taking care of you, but it's not. There could be a financial aspect, a money aspect, especially if you are in partnership with somebody, where there could be a mix up between business and love, or business and relationship. And on a relationship basis, on a trust basis, you think you are being rewarded appropriately, but you may not be. So when Venus will go retrograde, which it will from 13th of May to 25th of June, you will review what you do, and the money you make out of that, is that collaborative to your efforts? Are there projects that you're working on? Are they really worth your time? Are you doing what you're loving? You'll be reconsidering. You'll be restoring certain passion and work, because maybe some of you will realize this is not the project for me, or this is not the career for me. So you'll find that your love for work, and what you truly love to do, and how you want to do your work, and what kind of projects are truly worth your time, and which people at work are truly worth your time, that will undergo shift between 13th of May to 25th of June. You got to be very careful on certain dates here. 20th of May is the date I want you to be very careful on. That's a day when some financial prospect which is not very lucrative could come and could be presented as something else. This is especially true if your planets around, I would say 20 to 21 degree of Virgo. This is very strong aspect for you. All of you will feel it to some extent. There could be a little bit of I'm being taken for a ride feeling which can come on that day. Even a day before and after on 20th of May, you want to be careful. This is a underlying theme till about 25th of May. But these are trigger dates. 20th of May, a day before, a day after is a day we should not be signing something financial. This is especially true if you have planets around 20 or 21 degree of Virgo, or if you're born around 13th or 14th of September. Now, during Venus retrograde from 13th of May till 25th of June, it's not a good time to invest a lot of money into something. Taking financial decisions, especially financial investment in your business, financial investment in work. It's a time when you sort of are reviewing what you love, whether this is worth your time or not. What you like to do, what you're known for. Do you really care for it? Do you really love it? And you sort of will embellish your charge. What do you charge for your services during this time? It's a very good time to review the rates of your work, figuring out whether you're being rewarded collaborative to your input or not. Why we went there was because we were talking about health. We were talking about taking care of yourself, and we were talking that over the next 2.5 years, the health issue, if any, will come. They will come because of factors like that. They will come from psychological factors. Psychological factors linked to work, linked to worry. So health practices and routines that liberate you of that sort of, help you manage the stress, they would be required. And in Aquarius, normally your health issues are related to nerves and circulation of blood, circulation of air, circulation, heart is a key area. Circulation of pumping blood through the veins. Migraine is a common issue that you might face, and that they are all driven because of emotional, spiritual, intellectual, physical overload. They're normally linked to overload. They're linked to not sort of being able to contribute the way you want to, because you have taken on too much, or you have taken on responsibilities that are not yours. Or they might come because you're being forced to do something that you don't like. So need for boundary at work is required for your health, and a health routine, a health disciplines is required for you to expand the way the opportunities will come up for you to expand. over the next 18 months due to the eclipses which will happen starting from November itself. So Venus over here till August will prepare you. It will prepare you to ask. You will learn how to ask what you truly want when it comes to your work relationship. It will teach you how to avoid deception from partners, getting used by your partners when it comes to joint situation. This could be a personal as well as professional partner, because you have Neptune in your house of partnership. The boundaries with the partners are low, which is great for taking love to another level. But when it comes to mixing work with personal life, this is where we got to be a little bit careful. Okay, so what will happen in 2020 is that these two houses will clash. So as I said, this is a great time for adventure. Uranus is like, oof, I got to do something different, completely out of this world. Saturn is saying, let's get disciplined. There is an obvious conflict between these two houses, which will become obvious in 2021. The adventure and the practical will collide with each other. Your philosophy in life, which is very radical and different now, it will clash with the need to have a day-to-day discipline. Faith versus work. Conflict between faith versus worry. Trust versus trying to get it exact. You sort of will have this radical faith in wanting to go big or go home, and then getting exact about it. It's like in my notes I've written something for you, which is driving a Ferrari with the brakes on. You sort of have got this eureka moment of discovering something which is like ahead of time. This is, Gandhi had this aspect, Uranus in the ninth house, radically different philosophy that can free a lot of other people. So you have this radical philosophy or thought process or idea, and it's like, driving a Ferrari. Saturn says screech. No. Brakes are on. Leap of faith requires details here. If you want to do this, you'll have to manage, and I really suggest to get somebody to help you here. There could be a difference of opinion with your coworkers. So if you are a head of a business, getting a COO is a very good idea. Or if you are in a work environment, you learn where you are the organizer, which many Virgos are. You learn how to manage the daily friction of difference of opinion, because you'll be working with people who are different from you. When Uranus is in a house of variety, expansion of mind, the expansion of mind comes through interaction of people who are different from you. You'll be interacting with people who are different from you, and that will on a daily basis, you'll find there are difference of opinion in how you want to do things. So this square will teach you how to handle that on a daily basis. Then if you're creating something, you'll have to find a balance between it being of practical use to the world and something which is fancy, something which is unique, something which is ahead of time. Like, maybe I'm giving an example like Tesla. Tesla is ahead of time, but it does the job most of the time, I guess. But yeah, so creating something which is a combination of ahead of time, which is higher knowledge linked, which is futuristic, but it is also of practical utility to people, which is sort of the two energies which are conflicting with each other. One more thing about the square is that this is the house of faith. Uranus is in your house of faith. So when it is there, radical confidence in a specific thing. There could be an idea or an ideology that you can almost obsessively become confident on. You think that is the way to go, and you put all your eggs in that basket. Expecting one thing to become everything for you is something that you got to be careful of in 2021. And you might be in the process of that right now. So that's why we're talking about it right now, because it might be getting seeded right now. Being careful that you don't expect to find everything that you're expecting out of life's adventure, everything that you're thinking will give you expansion of mind, will be giving that zest to you, that you're looking for, everything that will give you that rush that you're looking for from one thing is a fallacy that many of us can get engaged in. You want to be careful about. Find significance in daily wins, in everyday wins, as you're moving towards something that you truly want to create, that you feel is your purpose in life. On a daily basis, what you're creating, see wins in them, see satisfaction in them. If you're going to wait for something to become perfect and then that is your end goal, you might, the perfect may not satisfy you. The end goal to be everything may not satisfy you. Apart from that, we have a full moon that is happening on 7th of May, coming to the period right now. On 7th of May, full moon is in your house of information, communication. So in the middle of all of this, from 7th of May till 14 days after 7th of May, which is 22nd of May, there could be a concrete commercial opportunity or a communication of significance that can come your way. It could be an information that you possibly did not have before. It could be, in fact, something that might be there below the surface you just did not see. And this communication is important. It could be financial in nature. It could be commercial in nature. It could be a deep analysis that needs to be done for you to complete something commercial. It could be a sort of conviction, courage that you get to get something commercial through. This is in your house of communication, thinking, talking. There could be a important conversation that needs to happen that is going to help you. There could be an important conversation that can transform you. A piece of missing information can come your way, and that might happen around 7th of May. It's the time when something which was sort of, something missing from the whole picture, that can come together. And this is going to add to you. This is going to help you. This is going to enhance what you're doing. This could be specifically in financial or commercial field. And it could be a deep and intense discussion that can happen around it. In fact, on 9th or 10th of May, it's a very good time to have a commercial discussion. On the day of full moon, which is 7th of May, and this is a super moon, we can be very emotionally charged. Because this is a water sign full moon, the emotions are a little bit over the top. So it's a very good day to sort of talk things out with your partner, with your personal person, but not really to go out and have a business discussion on the basis of new information that is coming to light. So wait a day or two. 9th or 10th of May are very good to have a business communication for you. In fact, if you are in your own business, or if you're in a creative field, or if you are doing something that you're really passionate about, 9th and 10th of May are excellent to have discussion on it. Because there is a grand earth trine that is forming on 9th and 10th of May, and then again 15th to 17th of May. But 9th to 10th of May is about communication. 15th to 17th of May is about launching something. It's about getting something. It's like some reward comes through of something that you have worked on. Something that you have very passionately worked on. It's like you put your heart and soul in something. There is something lucrative that can come out of it on between 15th to 17th of May. But the conversation of that might happen between 9th to 10th of May. This 15th to 17th of May is the cosmic smile that I was talking to you about. This is a very positive aspect which is happening around 25 to 27 degree. So especially if you have planets between 25 to 27 degree, or if you're born around 19th of September, a few days before, few days after, 3 days before, 3 days after 19th of September, you'll feel this very, very strongly. There will be a concrete thing that comes your way, in my view, around those dates. But what happens is that Jupiter at that time will go retrograde. So something is given to us which is very expansive, which is excellent, which has huge underpinning of growth, which is something that it's like, when you're on verge of giving birth to something and you just give birth, you like on on the first push. Jupiter goes retrograde, saying you got to hatch this egg to the next level without the help of epidural. This is like you got to do this by yourself, because first level of support is given to you, but then from almost I think 14th of May to 12th of September, you'll be working on this opportunity by your own impetus without any influence from outsiders, because this has got to have your own personal color further. It could be something very positive in a passionate investment project that you worked in. It could be speculative trade that you have done. It could be a creative work you have done. It could be you giving birth to something which is very lucrative in nature. It could be a business, it could be even related to your child. Something very positive in the house of your child. You could be actually giving birth to a child. Doesn't mean that you would not be giving birth for the next 3 months if you're due, but just that on those 3 months, you'll be working behind the scene for making that child grow in the right direction without the influence of other people, without other people telling you how he's supposed to be, grown up. So it's like, when a kid is given birth to, you need that period of the 3 months to sort of bond with them, to make them or be with them in the way you think you need to be. So those 3 months will be you nurturing this thing that is like your child by yourself without external influences. So that's what I have for you, Virgo. There's a lot of positivity in your career house, lot of scope of expansion. It comes with its own share of pressure. I will not like mince my words there, but I have to say, when North Node comes in your house of career, it happens once in 2 decades. This is the time for the next 18 months for you to grow in your public image, to grow in your career, to sort of take a few chances, to dare to take risk in your career. There will be sudden shifts which will come in your external image, in your career, as a result of the eclipses that will come, and it will take you a little bit away from your comfort zone. It will take you away even to some extent from your family, because more time will be spent on your work. You'll be more independent in the way you are as a person, in your leadership, in your visible positions. Private time will be a little bit less. You'll be breaking away from the familiar. But it is one of the most lively part of our life when we go through it. You might remember it actually. Last time North Node was in your career house was in 2001 to 2003. So if you're old enough, look back to that time. Look back to the time from October 2001 to April of 2003. Is something significantly shifted in your career? And what was the timing of that? You can map it, in fact, exactly to what's happening right now. So no two periods are same. You have grown tremendously since the last 19 years. All of us have. So everything is different now, but you'll understand something. What happened at the time? Was it completely? Did it completely shift who I was as a person? So good luck for that, and I'll see you in the next video now. Thank you.